Acuba japonica, the Japanese laurel, is a large evergreen shrub that can tolerate heavily shaded areas and dry conditions. The simple leaves are glossy, lanceolate with either smooth or serrate margins and are arranged alternately on the stem. Very small star-shaped flowers are borne in loose clusters and appear just before the new growth in August. The 4, sometimes 5 petals are maroon in colour with a green centre and sometimes are edged in white. This plant is dioecious, that is, there are separate sex plants with male flowers and female flowers. The oblong berries that grow only on the female plants start out bright green and turn a bright red in winter. This shrub has many uses in beds, borders or containers. Its striking foliage makes it an ideal specimen plant, and group plantings make a striking hedge or screen. Astelia chatamica is a clump-forming New Zealand native. This evergreen perennial has long, linear, sword-like leaves with a silver sheen and covered with silky hairs. It is the characteristic leaves that give this plant its common name of silver spear. The flowers appear mid to late spring and are mostly dioecious, small and pale yellow-green star shapes arranged in a terminal panicle. The mature fruits persist March through to July and are orange berries with black seeds. This plant is stunning as a feature or used in groups for a foliage accent. Ideal for growing in a container and enjoys full sun or shade. The Camellia sosanqua species of Japanese camellias are large evergreen shrubs native to China and Japan. The shiny dark green leaves are simple, broadly elliptic, acute obtuse tip and serrate margins. Scented single flowers in white or pale pink provide a welcome floral display in autumn. Camellia sosanqua is tolerant of shade but does require a slightly acidic soil, so blends well with rhododendrons, azalea and other camellia species. Its amenity uses include hedging, container plantings or as a border specimen. Daphne odora Leucanthe is commonly referred to as Daphne or winter Daphne. It is a small evergreen shrub with a compact growth habit. The mature leaves are green, simple, sessile and elliptic in shape with entire margins, a cuneate base and an acute tip. The pale pink flowers are highly fragrant, ideal for planting close to windows or as part of a mixed border along a path. The star-shaped flowers are held in an umbel-shaped inflorescence from midwinter. Daphne is usually planted for its heady fragrance and enjoys a cool position. Loropetalum chinense, the fringe flower, is a small evergreen shrub with horizontal branching that forms layers. The leaves are arranged alternate and are simple, petiolate, ovate elliptic with entire margins. New foliage is apple green and in late winter the plant bears distinctive small fringe-like flowers, creamy white and slightly perfumed. The fruits which follow are a small nut-like capsule containing 2 seeds. Loropetalum chinense has become a popular plant for borders and hedges, its layered form adding structural interest to amenity plantings. Pimelea prostrata, or New Zealand Daphne, has the Māori name Pinatoro. This little native is evergreen with dense foliage and a prostrate sprawling growth habit, which makes it an ideal ground cover plant. Tiny blue-green leaves are close set, sessile and arranged in an alternate opposite pairs along dark brown stems. The leaf shape is ovate to elliptic oblong with an obtuse acute tip. Small white, sweetly scented flowers appear in late spring, summer and are followed by translucent white berries in winter. Tolerates coastal planting and dry, sunny situation. Ideal over banks, walls, small rocks and as ground cover. Hydrangea quercifolia is a small to medium-sized deciduous shrub with a loosely branched, rounded but drooping habit. The young stems are covered in a felt-like coppery fuzz, and the larger stems have attractive cinnamon tan orange bark that shreds and peels in thin flakes. Commonly called the oak-leaved hydrangea, this plant's leaves are large, simple, petiolate and arranged in opposite pairs on the stems. The leaves have 3, 5 or 7 lobes, yellow-green on the upper surface and a furry white on the underside. They turn red, bronze and purple in autumn. The flowers are erect and very showy cone-shaped spikes on the end of branches. They start out creamy white, age to pinkish, and by autumn and winter are a dry, papery brown. Hydrangea quercifolia sends up new shoots from underground stolons, so it is often found clustered in undisturbed gardens. This plant suits alkaline soils in woodland borders and partially shaded situations. It provides a striking foliage accent and long-lasting floral display. Nandina domestica, also known as heavenly bamboo, is an evergreen, non-branching, slender, upright shrub. Suckers are sent out from the base of stems to form clumps. The leaves are compound in either a bipinnate or tripinnate arrangement. The leaflets are lanceolate in shape, and the new foliage appears pinky red, turning to green with age, and then colours again in the winter. Small, creamy white flowers in spring and summer are held in large panicles at the ends of stems. Bunches of green berries follow and ripen to a bright red. These are held for long periods over the winter. The upright habit suits narrow garden beds and provides an upright accent in planting. This suits sun or shade and provides interest in garden borders or against stark buildings. Pieris japonica is commonly known as lily of the valley bush. It is a small to medium-sized evergreen shrub with a compact rounded form with all year-round interest from both its leaves and flowers. The leaves are simple, elliptic with serrated margins. The new spring growth appears in pink, copper and bronze tones before maturing to a dark, glossy green. Sweetly scented white flowers begin appearing in spring and hang in showy pendulous clusters, often through until winter. The flowers are bell-shaped, downward-facing racemes clustered at the branch tips. The fruits are little dry capsules hanging like a string of beads. This plant prefers alkaline soil in semi-shade. It is an ideal specimen shrub or for use in woodland borders. Rosmarinus officinalis is better known as rosemary, the culinary herb. This evergreen perennial shrub has an erect growth form with woody stems that bear a grey, scaly bark as they mature. The simple, sessile, aromatic leaves are dark green, linear and leathery with rolled edges and a silver underside. Spring flowers are pale blue and appear in clusters of 2 or 3 on the stems at the leaf axis. The labiate-shaped flowers are strongly two-lipped with 2 long protruding stamens. Rosemary fruits consist of 4 dry nutlets. A Mediterranean plant, rosemary tolerates hot, dry situations and soil conditions and is ideal for hedging in amenity settings. Viburnum japonicum, the Japanese viburnum, is a medium to tall evergreen shrub with a loose, rounded growth form. The simple petiolate leaves are broadly elliptic with an acuminate tip and undulate margins. They are leathery but a glossy dark green on top and paler underneath. Tiny cream white, strongly scented flowers are arranged in large flat cymes that appear in spring. Flowers are followed by clusters of oval-shaped red berries that persist through winter. An ideal plant for dappled shade to provide screening or as a border specimen plant. Phormium tenax, the New Zealand flax, or harakiki, is a large clump-forming evergreen herbaceous perennial. The grey-green leaves are very long, linear and fibrous with a stiff, upright habit. The tall spikes of large, waxy red-brown trumpet-shaped flowers appear midsummer and attract native birds who drink the nectar. Black, stiff seed capsules release shiny, black, elliptic seeds. A large native perennial suited to background border planting, native drifts and for foliage accent. Arthropodium serratum is a New Zealand native, also known as ringaringa or ringalily. This evergreen half-woody perennial clumps with the use of short rhizomes. The leaves are grey-green in colour with a lanceolate shape. The margins are entire and they attach with a sheath along stems with very short internodes. Tall erect panicles of flowers appear above the leaves in November through to January. They are creamy white, 6 petals and have a touch of mauve and yellow on the stamens. The flowers are followed by oval capsules containing small, long, flat black seeds. Ringaringa is ideal for low mass or drift plantings, especially under trees or as part of a native border. Brachyglottis repanda, the New Zealand native commonly known as rangiora, is a tall evergreen shrub with a broad branching habit and large leaves which feature a grooved petiole, prominent veining and white felted undersides. The leaves are large, simple and petiolate. They are broadly ovate oblong in shape with an obtuse tip, a cordate base and margins that are lobed. Fragrant creamy flowers are abundant in spring. Tiny radiate-shaped flowers are arranged on branched panicles. A striking foliage plant that tolerates sun or shady conditions and makes an ideal border shrub.